Hey man, I'm back, man. Now, if y'all been paying attention lately, the last couple years, I ain't gonna lie, Marvel really been on the downfall, but really, everything in general been on the downfall. Really, all movies just been, I don't know, bro. But anyway, I ain't trying to be one of them people, cause we still got a few good, alright movies out. But yeah, basically finna watch this video about the downfall of Marvel. Let me know, man, in the comments, DC or Marvel. I gotta go rock out with DC, man.
Avengers!
When Marvel released Avengers Endgame in 2019, it was the epic peak
Dang, that
of
was
MCU.
2019?
The movie brought together every
crazy.
superhero in the cinematic MCU into one universe-wide battle, and fans couldn't wait to see how the Infinity Saga would end.
Rarely do you get an opportunity as a filmmaker to work on movies that are cultural events like this.
But after Endgame, Marvel had a problem.
Hey, why they playing this suspicious music, bro? What they got going on, bro?
You can rest now.
And Captain America turned into this guy.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Try some of that life.
Dang, it's been a minute, bro.
Telling me to get.
For the first time in more than a decade.
Bro, you know what's crazy? I ain't even watched Wakanda 2. I mean, Black Panther 2. RP, Chadwick Boseman. I ain't even watched the second one, bro. That's how much I really ain't been watching in Marvel Jam. But for me, it's all in there. Like, if I don't watch one movie, I'm not watching all them other movies. Like, I'm not one of them weirdo people who watch a third of a movie and ain't watch the first and second one. I'm not one of them people. Like, if I don't watch the first one, I'm not watching the third movie.
So what was next?
There are more projects in less years because of all the amazing stuff we're now allowed to do on Disney+.
Maybe that's what really killed it though, that Disney+. That Hawkeye show, did not watch that bull. That Loki show, did not watch that. Eternals, I don't even know what that was about. I tried to watch it, I fell asleep on it, I couldn't. She-Hulk, I did not watch that show. The only show I watched was WandaVision. That show was great, I ain't gonna lie, that show was great. I ain't even finna count like it was. It's really, the stuff they was really putting out was movies, but it's just really cut up into episodes.
Marvel released 10 movies and 10 miniseries in just 3 years. Yet,
that's
strangely
crazy.
enough, it feels like all the content is going nowhere. But why?
Bro.
For years, Marvel cultivated the characters of their main franchise
Like, they don't give you
heroes,
enough time to,
namely
like,
the leaders of the
you
superheroes,
feel me?
Iron Man and Captain America.
That's
When
too
we
much.
first met Tony Stark, he
I ain't
was
gonna lie, I
nothing
never,
more than an
I don't
irresponsible
like
rich
Iron
playboy.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
But then, he gets a wake-up call. When he's kidnapped by terrorists, it forces him to start becoming more responsible, and we see him take control of his life.
I am Iron Man.
That's
As we
one of the
see
Marvel
Iron
movies
Man
I don't
more,
like, bro. I
we
ain't gonna
watch him
lie.
struggle with his major flaw, selfishness. But over time, we see him grow. Like the time he decides to sacrifice himself by grabbing a nuke and sending it through the portal to save New York City. Here, Tony was no longer the guy who would always put himself first. Tony matures over time, even helping heroes like Spider-Man. By the time we see him in Endgame, he's willing to sacrifice everything to save the people that the world lost in Infinity War.
I feel, yeah, cause it's
An
like,
act of selflessness.
okay.
With limited options left, he sacrificed himself.
no cap. I see what they
Steve
saying.
Rogers as Captain America not long after Iron
Like,
Man.
they give you
But he was
time to,
almost the
like,
exact
really,
opposite of
you
Tony.
feel me,
He
see the
wants
character
nothing more than to
develop, bro. On the
sacrifice
other
himself for
movies,
his country
it just
during World
keeps
War II.
starting over.
Come on,
Like,
there are
I don't
men
know.
laying down their lives.
I don't know what I'm even
I
trying
got
to
no
say. I
right
ain't
to
gonna
do
cap.
any less than them.
But he isn't healthy enough to be a soldier.
Yeah,
So
Captain
he takes
America,
an
they
experimental
was, hey,
serum
they
to
snapped
make
with
him
that
strong,
movie. I ain't gonna
and he
lie.
sacrifices himself to take down a plane carrying weapons of mass destruction.
Steve?
He survived, of course, and we saw him take charge and become a confident leader. But when the arcs of Iron Man and Captain America concluded,
Oh yeah, I remember that. I
Marvel had
remember
to
that.
find new stars for their franchises. Like Falcon, the former sidekick to Captain America. He was a familiar face, but we didn't learn much about who he was, besides a veteran with a troubled past.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
My wingman, Riley.
Then, at the end of Endgame, Steve passes along his shield to Falcon. Suddenly, a sidekick was supposed to become Captain America.
I did watch
But
that
how
show
would
too.
Marvel
I'm capping.
transform Captain America's
I watched that. I
friend
watched
into
both
Captain
shows.
America
I watched
himself?
that. I ain't gonna lie.
Enter a new miniseries, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. From the first episode, we do get to know Falcon a little better. We see more of his backstory and his family life in his home state of Louisiana. But the central issue of the series is Falcon's reluctance to accept the Captain America shield and fill Steve's place.
Feels like it
Tight.
belongs to someone else.
Falcon was afraid he couldn't live up to Steve's legacy, but the series establishes this problem almost too well, to the point where they can't stop mentioning Steve and how special he was.
Steve represented the best.
I feel what she's saying, no
Steve
cap.
did not put you in jail.
But there has never been another Steve Rogers, has there?
Most of the series ends up focusing a lot more on who Steve was instead of who Falcon is or will become. So when he finally
Yeah, it
does
don't give you
accept the
time to
shield near
like
the end of the series,
really like the
it
character,
feels
bro. Like
rushed. The moment feels like a letdown
all them
because it's
little
missing
what's
a key
called
element
rush.
that both Iron Man and Captain America had in their first movies.
You've got to do better.
A dramatic wake-up call when they decide to become the hero.
No cap, he didn't have that moment. Like them little what you call shows is rush, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's like a movie. It's like a cheaper way of them making a movie without making a movie. See what I'm saying? But what I remember, I don't remember him really having a moment where he just like everything just went wrong. He had to flip and decide to become a hero.
Steve sacrifices his life, but Falcon almost just wandered into the decision.
That's what
he
I'm
made the
saying.
choice off
Like,
screen and then told us about it. And in a
no
way,
cap.
it's still about Steve.
It doesn't matter what Steve thought.
So Falcon ends up feeling like he's still a side character for most of his own series. And after Endgame, a lot of new characters entered the MCU, like Shang-Chi,
Yeah, I ain't
the
watched that
Eternals,
either. I
and
ain't
the
watched
Marvels.
that. I
But
ain't
with
watched
these
that.
characters, it feels like the MCU is aiming for quantity
I ain't watched
over
that either.
quality. Before
No
Endgame,
cap.
Marvel had a storyline centered around 6 major heroes who made up the
Yeah, they got
original
too much
Avengers.
going on, bro. We
Marvel
can't keep up
focused on
with
developing these
30
key heroes,
characters,
so
bro.
we became more invested in them, and it
You
was a
feel
lot
me?
easier to get behind them.
That's
Kevin,
what I'm
you
saying.
put
They
us in a
got too many
position
characters,
where
bro.
we lived our lives looking at each other in the eyes and playing these big stakes moments and being in trouble together and saving each other and worrying about each other.
Now there are a lot of characters to go around.
Too
But there's
many
no
characters,
Iron Man
bro.
figure to lead Marvel into a new era, or a Captain America figure to unite the heroes. And the issue isn't that the characters aren't interesting. Take Shang-Chi, for example.
I ain't
He was
watched
just
that
a
movie.
normal guy until we learn he's the son of a terrorist leader. We see him
I
transform
heard that
from
movie
a
was
guy who
good,
ran
though, but
away
I just
from his
never got
problem
around to
as a
watching.
teen, to a determined man ready to take on his father to protect
Damn
a
it.
village.
I might watch
Trained your
that
son
though.
to be a killer. Is this what you wanted?
It was great.
Okay.
At least as
I
a
might watch
standalone
that.
movie.
What
The
the
problem
freak?
is that we aren't seeing how Shang-Chi's character is relevant to any other characters in the MCU. Since it was released in 2021, none of the other
Tight.
movies and shows have even referenced it. The MCU sets itself apart with its commitment to its multi-phase structure that makes all the characters intertwine across the
Yeah,
series of
on
movies.
bro. No
That's
cap.
why the MCU became so unique.
You know, the truth is,
That is true,
phase
but it
one,
ain't
phase
no,
two,
it
phase
ain't no
three, there were
connection
less
no more,
projects
bro.
over more years.
No cap.
The crossover events gave characters more interactions, good
Guardian of the
and
Galaxy
bad,
was
and it
hard.
made
I ain't
them
gonna
a
lie.
lot more
I ain't like that
interesting.
movie at
No
first, but I
two
went back and
characters showed
watched
this
it.
better than Iron Man
That movie
and
was
Captain
hard. I
America
ain't gonna lie.
themselves.
No trust.
I forgot about it. I did watch that.
As the two strongest forces of the Avengers, they butt heads regularly from day one.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Their disagreements come from their differences in character.
Tight.
Tony's stubbornness often gets in the way of Steve trying to lead.
Stark, we need a plan of attack.
I have a plan. Attack.
Steve calls out Tony for not being willing to sacrifice himself for the sake of others. And the growth between the characters led to unforgettable moments like the heart-wrenching goodbye between Spider-Man and Iron Man. But after Endgame, the movies haven't brought the characters together enough to show how they develop together. Right now, the
Facts.
characters are all on their own paths.
Yeah, I ain't watched the
Sometimes it
Ant-Man
doesn't even
movie.
feel like they're in the same
I don't
universe.
know.
And the superheroes aren't the only issue. A big part of making the MCU work is having a strong central villain character, like Thanos. Thanos made an appearance 7 years before Endgame in the first Avengers movie. And for years, the MCU carefully set up the plot of Infinity War and Endgame with the placement of the Infinity Stones and other connectors. These all
Yeah,
pointed to a
bro.
looming battle with Thanos. Now, a new villain has entered the universe, Kang. There's only one problem. We've only seen him in one movie. And we haven't seen any connections between Kang's story and the rest of the characters in the MCU. So,
Yeah, I
right
ain't
now,
gonna lie, they for sure
there's no
dropping the
big
ball.
reason
I
to
ain't
rally
even
behind
gonna
the
cap. I don't know
heroes.
what they got
The
going.
question remains, will they ever have a moment as powerful as this again?
Nah, they won't. It's over with, bro.
Or will we be left asking after every new release,
Iron Man.
what's the point?
Shout out to whoever made this video original, link in the description. Hey, they snap, bro, cause they dropped some good points for real, for real. Yeah, bro said no character development, no connection between characters, no villain. Yeah, it's like every movie is just its own movie in its own. Like, the other movies was good, But the reason why they was great, because they connected to something, you feel me? I'm really on here snapping though, but yeah, I don't think it's ever gonna reach back to that peak point, like Endgame or whatever on that type. And that's just cause how these movies is now, bro. It's a whole bunch of reboots, remakes, sequels. Like, ain't no more creativity no more, bro. It's all about that green piece of paper, man. Feel me? Whatever gonna sell, that's what they gonna make. Truthfully, they don't gotta be creative, cause somebody's still gonna watch it, creative or not. You feel me? Just cause they got their name stamped on it. But yeah, man, if you made it this far into the video, man, let me know in the comments how I feel about that. And also, bro, don't forget to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, man. Road to 400. To all my soldiers out there, man, keep grinding. Love, man, love, man, love. Stop the hate. I'm gonna see how the next one y'all stay blessed out the way. Kick out for. I'm out.
They said the truth will set you free, but I wouldn't know cause all my secrets I had to keep. I lock my heart inside a place without a key. Me and bro the same, they look at me and they look at me.